Welcome to Will at Work. I'm Kevin. Today we've got the Plug and Play World Class Decathlon. 10 in 1. 10 exciting track and field events right in your living room. Become a sports legend. Now, this is interesting for a couple of reasons. It's not super interesting. And we're not going to try it because it requires a mat to be put down and run on. We've seen that kind of thing before. It probably came out around the time of Wii Fit or a little after. You know, get people sort of a lower cost Wii Fit thing, you know, rather than buying a Wii and the Wii Fit balance board and stuff. Hey, you can go buy this and burn some energy, etc. This was actually created by Excalibur Games. And Excalibur, I believe, is pretty much kind of like, I believe they were kind of like an importer of some of this technology from like China, for instance. They would rebrand it and then sell it, you know, maybe exclusively, maybe, maybe not. It depends on what it was. Excalibur Electronics, they got absorbed or were a company that made electronic chess games. And from what I understand, their chess games were pretty good. They kind of merged into that company of some sort, and it looks like Excalibur Electronics is no longer around. At least they could have been a division of this chess company or whatever, but from everything I've tried to look for them, they seem like they're another one of these guys that made these plug-and-play games, and then after that market kind of fell in, they sort of disappeared. Now that's one interesting thing. The other interesting thing is that if you look at these screenshots right here and here, you will see in the background that that says THQ, Toy Headquarters. They used to make games. I don't know. I think like they're kind of still around. The original THQ, was a big publisher. They used to make a lot of games in general, but they made a lot of licensed games for like Nickelodeon and a lot of their titles, especially on like Game Boy Color and I believe Game Boy Advance, etc. But then they made everything. They were a publisher, a fairly big publisher, but not at the scale of like Electronic Arts or anything. They got bought out by like Nordic, I think. And so they're sort of still around, but it's like Nordic THQ or THQ Nordic, or something like that. I haven't followed the branding on all that, but it's not the same company anymore. At least, from the one it was. So my guess is this probably was a THQ Decathlon game written for, say, PlayStation or something along those lines, and they then put it into this standalone system and sold it as this World Class Decathlon. I can't say that for sure. No one's around to tell me one way or the other with this one. It does make a lot of sense otherwise. Why would you have THQ logo in there? In fact, while we're sitting here, I can just go ahead and do a little bit of Google searching and just say like THQ Decathlon game. And let's see what comes up. Well, there's a Game Boy Advance game. It might be this one. Fila Decathlon. Might make sense because there's a little Fila emblem right there. Let's look up Fila THQ. What are there screenshots? Yep. And so, although this is a bit blurry on my phone, you can see here this, I don't know why this particular screenshot has these lines through it and everything, but you can see that little field right there. It's the Game Boy Advance game. You can see the little track right there. And then if we look at this game box, right, we can see the same little shot put thing there, right? And here we've got the track and field. So basically, this is Excalibur Electronics released a THQ game from the Game Boy Advance and a standalone Decathlon title. Was it licensed? Like Excalibur Electronics was an American company. I would hope that they had licensed it, but it would be odd that it doesn't have on the box or anywhere the Fila branding, the THQ branding, or you know, anything to do with that. So maybe not. Maybe they just thought that it, you know, came from some reputable place in China, and they just resold it and hoped that nobody noticed. And maybe nobody did, because it probably didn't sell. But anyway, yeah, we're not gonna play a Game Boy Advance game on the big screen. But it would be interesting, you know, to think of the emulation inside of this thing was, you know, from the mid 2000s, was emulating Game Boy Advance and putting it up on the big screen. It's like if you could hack into this, you know, you could have put a bunch of more Game Boy Advance games on it and maybe connected a real controller to it and had like a little emulation station that was connected to your TV. But whatever. So that's one more for the count. Adding it, you know, into the collection. We'll just assume it works, and we'll move on to the next one. See you on the next video.